Hi friends, it's Monday, August 11th, 2014. Lynn and Jamie here, continuing our assignment in the D.C. area, and specifically in the correctional facilities. We are just down the street from another correctional facility compound. This one is for State of Maryland facilities, Correctional Institute for Women, and a pre-release facility. Both of them have some pretty heavy-duty Cosentino wire, barbed wire fencing. They're serious places. The energy of the women's prison is very thick, heavy, like bubbling molasses. It doesn't feel good. The pre-release place isn't as bad. That's my assessment.
Yeah.
Not as bad. So we're here to continue our work, our energy. We are parked a little bit down the street from them, at a church, actually, because we have not received a firm yes or no from these facilities, and until they have said no, we're not to work in their parking lots. Instructions from above. But our work is to begin to clear the correctional facilities. So that is our intention today, to just do whatever it is. I see the job ticket, to do whatever it is that's our job for today. Now we begin. Drawing the focus all the way down, deeper, deeper, getting another one of those waterproof things. Oh, drawing it up. It's to get there's just rage and sadness and these despairing emotions. These women, a lot of them have kids. Merging all of us who feel like we've made terrible messes, you know?
Yeah.
Messed up terribly, all our mistakes. All of us have made terrible mistakes, and so we're just sitting here like really merging in, becoming aware of the terrible mistakes we've all made. So that we feel like a oneness, you know, merging, merging, merging. I'm in the same room, so I don't think it's going to change. Here we are in this room, and it's where we're all sharing our errors, and it's like group therapy kind of, but we're all just telling our worst errors, like the biggest things that are coming to our mind, the things that we are suffering about the most, the biggest regrets. And you know, everybody's doing a pretty good job of being honest. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's true.
Yeah, and a lot of it is about, you know, they've messed up their kids. The perception is they've messed up their kids, right?
Right.
Feeling like, what can I not, how can I undo these things? How can I undo it? Now their mom's in prison. What now? How do I set a good example for my kids?
Right.
How can I possibly set a good example for my kids? How can I possibly set a good example for my kids? That is an excellent point. It's an excellent point. So, who among us hasn't goofed? You know, find a life where you've been a parent, been a mother, you know? And just, it's easy to find a boatload of mistakes. We all make a boatload of mistakes, right?
Right.
It's this big regret. And now there's like, when we feel like that, we want to blame others. It's hard to accept responsibility for these kinds of thoughts, right?
Right.
And so we want to blame others. It's natural, it's normal, right?
Right.
And so this molassesy goo is like regret mixed with lying to ourselves and blaming others for it when it's us, and not only us. Like, life has handed us a pile of poo to begin with, in large part.
Right.
There we go, which we aren't happy, you know, we're just doing the best we can with it. It's tough.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough. That's what this is, in large part. These women, you know, their lives have been horrendous, really.
Yeah.
Horrendous. And as a result, they've made mistakes, and who among us hasn't made mistakes? We're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Every single day, more errors are made, but the higher dimension beings don't care about that at all.
No, they don't care about
We just acknowledge it and make it right, try and get the lesson, try and clean up our mistakes, clean
Yeah.
up our messes, make it right, move forward. Nobody cares about that. Whoop-de-doo. How else are we going to learn, right?
Right.
That's what's a lesson. That's called a lesson. It's a learning opportunity. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Now, if we don't acknowledge it, that's a different story. If we don't make it right, that's a different story.
Right.
That's a whole different story. That's where things go wrong. There, and that's what this bubbly molasses thing is about, is not lying to ourselves. Lying to ourselves about the need to correct it, right?
Right.
That's the fundamental lie. We notice we make a mistake.
Right.
And then what are we going to do about it? Right then, we either realize, I need to make this right, I need to acknowledge it and make it right, or we
Yeah.
lie to ourselves and say, oh well,
Right. There's nothing I can do.
or I don't need to.
Or that wasn't even an error.
Right, we lie to ourselves in some way. Rather than acknowledging it and making it right, which is just part of life, nobody cares, right?
Right.
We lie to ourselves about it. Try and shove it under the rug. And that's when it starts to look molassesy.
Yeah, it's like it rots under the rug.
And it's dark and sticky, really sticky.
Mm-hmm.
Now try to get, it's like if you pour molasses under a rug.
Yeah.
Good luck cleaning that one up, right? It would have been a lot
Right.
easier to just take the molasses while it was still in the jar and pour it down the drain.
Yeah.
So, who among us hasn't made a mistake and didn't clean it up? Like, we've all done this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Make mistakes and don't clean them up right away. Me too, me too, me too, me too. Getting some truth into here, right? And the truth is, I messed up big time. I hurt people from it, right?
Right.
I want it to be right, and the only way it can be right is for me to make it right, because it's my mistake. Nobody else can make it right. I don't know who all these women are. They so far seem to be all inmates. So far I just see inmates. Do you see anyone who isn't?
Looks like inmates with big soul plans.
Huge soul plans. Energy sensitives, every single one of them.
Yeah.
And somehow got into trouble, possibly because of their energy sensitivity.
Right.
Probably because of their energy sensitivity. I mean, that's the likely thing.
Right.
Probably.
Some way or another.
Some way or another, the energy sensitivity, which they have to live the big soul plan. There's
Right.
no other way to do these big soul plans without being energetically sensitive. But the energy sensitivity can get us into trouble if we don't know how to manage our energy bodies, or if we aren't doing it even though we know how. So, who among us hasn't been lazy with tending our energy bodies?
Oh, me too,
me
me
too,
too.
me too. And so now for all of us, merging in with the energy sensitives who have come here to make a difference and are in some way or another affiliated with the correctional system. Even though we don't know about it, it's still our work to do, right? And we can do it in other ways, like we can exercise. That's one way people tend their energy bodies who don't know about it, right? Just go out and run 5 miles, right? That'll blow your energy clear, right?
True.
Right? And so everybody has ways of doing it. They can go weed the yard, right?
Some people use church.
Or church, weed the yard, church, just have an attitude of gratitude, sing, go run 5 miles, or we're giving Source something to match.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Do you hear those guns?
They do sound like guns.
Something just happened.
Right.
And then we are a member of the system, right?
Right.
And now we have seen other members of the system come in with good intentions, right? Like that chaplain in that facility in Baltimore, right?
Right.
Well-intentioned people coming in to serve, not lasting a day, right?
That's true.
Falling apart energetically, giving up their soul plan, settling for a pale shadow of the soul plan within a day, right? Within a day. So if we don't tend our energy bodies,
We're no different.
We're no different. We're no different. We must tend our energy bodies. And so now here we are again in this room with women who are, we can teach them how to tend their energy bodies. We can teach them they have a beautiful gift. They have come to see it as a curse, a burden, right? Because it has messed up their life because they haven't dealt with it effectively.
Right.
We can teach them how to deal with it effectively. They either will or won't. But they've got more motivation to learn how to do it because look where they're living.
Yeah. Can't help but notice.
Can't help but notice I'm in prison. And the feeling when we're in prison is that those people are bad people. Right? Everyone feeling that way. Right. So how to be sensitive and strong. All these women, same thing, right? Come on, friends, golden pipes, right?
Right.
Golden pipes. Just a vertical focus. Just no horizontal focus whatsoever, right?
Right.
That's what messes up energy sensitive people, right?
Right.
Is a horizontal focus, right?
That's true.
Right. So no horizontal focus at all, or you're going to go down a dark, ugly road that you've already probably taken. Whew, draw the channels up for all the energy sensitives in the correctional system. Whew, asking the light beings to help draw the channels up for all the energy sensitives. Drawing the channels up, up, up. And not just the energy sensitives, but especially the energy sensitives, which is a lot of this population.
And it feels like a lot of the channels are going up easily.
They're not resisting, they're not fighting it. They're struggling enough.
Right.
Suffering enough, I guess is a better way of saying it. They're suffering enough. It's just, okay, well, I'll try something different. Plus, they're not wanting to scope out the people around them. Not as much. True. They don't want to scope it out. It's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Coating, filmy coating around the outside of the channels.
Interesting.
Like plaque on a tooth.
So, this is what the guides say, is that the first step is getting the messages, and the second step is interpreting the messages properly. Look, they're picking up messages, but misinterpreting them. That's what that stuff is. Check me on it.
Yeah, that feels true.
Yeah, just misinterpreting messages over and over and over and over and over and over. Right?
Right.
And that, therefore, handling things incorrectly.
Right. And then there's a sense that the messages are
untrustworthy.
Bad, right, because the story is they followed the messages and bad stuff happened.
Right. That's the story. They didn't. They misinterpreted.
They misinterpreted the messages.
And they made a mistake. Whoop-de-doo. So we all do that.
Right.
No judgment. They didn't do. This is common. People say, I did what my guide said to do. No, you didn't. That isn't what they said to do. You did something else. That isn't what they said.
Right.
There. So now, who among us hasn't misinterpreted our messages? Me too, me too, me too. Goodness gracious, right? All the time.